We're going to go back in time a little bit because Foreigner 4 was actually released right before he started work on For Those About to Rock.
So we step back to when?
So we're going to go back to December 1980, 6 months after Back in Black. So right in between Back in Black and For Those About to Rock, Mutt Lange started working with Foreigner, who he wanted to work with.
He courted them before.
He had, and Mick Jones was keen to work with Mutt. It didn't work out in 79, but now sort of the stars aligned and they started working together. It was recorded at Electric Lady Studios in New York. I think that was probably the first album Mutt recorded in the US.
Right.
He had Thomas Dolby drafted in to play keyboards. Thomas Dolby is a Zomba songwriter. And this was a big, big project. It took probably about 10 months to make, including pre-production.
Wow, that's a long time at the time.
Yeah, so like I said, when we're talking about For Those About to Rock, Mutt was now the kind of guy who wanted to spend a lot of time putting an album together. And I think, as frustrating as it probably was for the guys in Foreigner, they were pretty amenable. I mean, they're more that kind of band, I think. This was.
Do you know where they were at in their career, if this is their fourth album? Are they falling apart after a big third album, or where are they?
The Foreigner were actually like a smash hit straight out of the gate. They had a huge debut album.
Yeah.
I think it sold like 7 million copies.
Wow.
They were successful immediately. I think their second album sold about 5 million. It's either their second or third album marked a small decline, but, Foreigner were panicking. They were still selling millions of albums.
Right.
But, they were concerned. They wanted something huge. They
were looking for a really big smash album.
They were.
Enter Mutt Lange.
Up until now, really, Mutt had been working on bands that were either just starting out or bands that had only achieved a sort of certain amount of success. Now he was teaming up with a successful band, but they wanted to take it to the next level. So I guess they were down for whatever it took. And Mutt's reputation by now was, he was the guy who made the biggest selling rock album of all time. So
yeah,
they were going to listen. I mean, Foreigner, interesting kind of band. This is the first time I've properly listened to them. They've always been on my radar, but it's never really been my style. It's
it's a bit soft.
It's sort of corporate rock, it's designed to be commercial. It's designed to be, yes, it's rocky and it can be quite epic and powerful in parts, but at the same time, it'll sound seamless in between, when it's played between Hall & Oates and Huey Lewis.
Yeah, it's FM rock.
Yeah, AOR, I guess.
AOR. It's more my style. I don't have any Foreigner CDs in my collection from my youth, and this was my first time listening to them as well, researching this podcast. And, on paper, it ticks all the boxes for my interest in kind of AOR and melodic rock. And I listen to it and I'm like, that's cool, but there's something missing from it. It's not all there.
I've had a pretty decent listen to this album, and it definitely has its moments. I'll give it that, and it's all about the production.
You know what it is? It's the soundtrack to a Rocky film.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And in fact, let's have a listen to Jukebox Hero, one of the hits from this album, because
it's a good song too.
This is the sports training montage.
Totally.
You are referring to. Yeah. It's a sports training montage all about a guy who wants to be in a rock band.
Yeah.
Just looking at himself in the mirror with a headband on and a guitar, just like,
you can do it. Come on, man, come on.
It was a sold-out show. Heard the roar of the crowd.
It's very earnest. It's like serious.
It's overwrought is what it is.
That's exactly what it is, overwrought.
Like a distant scream, he heard one guitar. Just blew him away. Saw stars in his eyes. And the very next day, bought a beat-up six-string.
The production's amazing. It's really, really good. And the way that it comes down right there, the dynamics.
Fuck yeah.
It's cool.
That one guitar felt good in his hand. Didn't take long to understand. Just one guitar slung way down low was a one-way ticket. Only one way to go. So he started rocking.
I'm gonna make it.
Ain't never gonna stop.
Do it, man.
Gotta keep on rocking. Someday gonna make it to the top and be a jukebox hero. Got stars in his eyes. He's a jukebox hero.
I'm bobbing my head.
I'm pumping my fist, but I don't know why is the thing.
There he goes. Jukebox hero.
That is a fucking funny song with the like, he got his guitar, didn't know what to do, but he knew he had to rock.
Yeah. It's so rocky. It's so like, but I mean.
But it's also Mutt just writing a song like, we need to write a song that gets right to the heart of every record buying 15-year-old boy out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And here's a question. You talked about how sort of American rock, and by the way, Foreigner are a sort of Anglo-American band.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so Lou Gramm's American, Mick Jones is British, I think.
No, I did not know that.
And Mick Jones produced 5150. Did you know that?
Hello, baby.
The same Mick Jones?
Yeah, the same Mick Jones.
I did not know that.
Isn't that interesting?
I mean, I knew it was Mick Jones, but I'd never put two and two together. Shame on me.
And produced in air quotes. I think Warner Brothers just didn't trust Eddie to do it. So they just said, let's get someone, a proper person in who can sort of sit in the control room while you guys muck around and make this album.
We need someone to hold Eddie's hair while he's vomiting in the bin in the corner of the room.
Let's have a listen to Lou Gramm talking with Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols on Jonesy's Jukebox about making this song and working with Mutt.
When Mutt Lange just finished doing The Back in Black.
Yes, we were waiting for him to finish up so we could start. So he flew over and we began working on 404.
Yeah.
And there were times when it would be 2 or 3 in the morning and all the other members of the band would go home, and it was just Mick and Mutt and myself. So Mutt would pick up the bass and Mick would strap on the guitar, and I was a drummer for many years. So I'd get on the set of drums and the three of us would jam.
Did anything come of that?
Well, we jammed Jukebox Hero.
But I mean, did you record it like that, or just getting the ideas?
Just get the ideas.
Yeah.
But then after we got off the instruments, he was telling me on that chorus of Jukebox Hero, he says, "I want you way up there." And I says, Mutt. I says, I've got a pretty good range. I said, but I like to add in the mids and the lows and the highs for contrast. I says, to me, it sounds like you're trying to get me to sing like Bon or Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
I says, who I really love and respect. I says, but that's not me.
Yeah.
I says, I can hit those notes all day. I says, but I'm who I am. I says, so respect that, please.
Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah. Was he? Would you call him a perfectionist in the studio?
A perfectionist and
more
and very driven.
Yeah. But he's, he knew
Look at the results.
He knew his stuff.
Yes, he did. I mean, he had a string of major albums at a certain point. No matter who he produced, they went big.
Yeah. I mean, when you're doing it, you're like, oh, this guy's driving me insane. But once it's done, it's done.
Yeah, I'm thinking, is this ever going to be over?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we went so far over our time limit and our budget in 404 that our manager came in and started showing us the accounting.
How much it's costing.
Yes,
yeah.
and we almost fell over. It was
we're never going to make any money.
Yes, so much. We had to sell jillions to break even.
Yeah.
And we did.
That's fascinating, that quote, because Phil Collin tells exactly the same story about Hysteria, about just going so far over budget and so far over time, and the manager coming in and showing him the bill and just saying, you got to fucking get this out. And it just goes to show the faith that the people who were paying for it, the record companies, ultimately the bands, but they wouldn't have felt that they were at the time, had the faith to go, it doesn't fucking matter how long it takes or how much it costs because it will be recouped.
Yeah, and Mutt did not care about any of that. He
wouldn't have even known what the end date was or how much it was costing.
And just didn't give a shit. It fell on deaf ears. It was just like, sorry, I'm here to make the best album in the world. I'm not interested in budgets or money or any crap like that. Like you get me to make an album for you. This is how you make an album. Don't waste my time talking about going over budget or anything like that.